Back with another banger. I think I made the video once, I didn't post it, so I'm gonna repost this video. Hopefully it'll make more sense in time. But there's a video with where Kanye West is saying the hierarchy of society, and he's talking about, say there's the powerful families, like say the Medici, then you have like the church, then you have like corporations, and then you have like celebrities, then people, then it just sort of goes down. I probably got some of it mixed up, but you know how it is. As in, you have the elites and the oligarchs, and then you have corporations, and then you have like civilians somewhere at the bottom. But anyway, why I was saying that is that basically I don't like this word higher ups, but in that triangle, you're basically dealing with a lot of demonic energy or people, straight up. So you can say even the Metropolitan Police in the UK, because you say they're here to serve or to keep order, but they serve, that structure. So they are servants of the people of the higher chain of the structure. So you can then say the police are ran by demonic people. The police themselves are demonic. And if you look at, I've just seen 2 recent reports where the police were speaking about, one when they were talking about Notting Hill Carnival, and they were saying that, it's not their duties to protect people at the carnival. And I saw another news piece where people who actually work within the police, the Metropolitan Police in the UK, were saying the police were institutionally racist, and the police were gaslighting their own members of the force and the public, so that already tells you sort of whose side the police are on, in terms of how they operate. You think, if you're someone that thinks the police are, if you even work for the police and you think that your mission statement is to protect and serve the public, then you're even worse than being blue pill. You're worse than a square. You're someone that's not like super asleep and not awake to anything, basically, because as you're living your life, you can even see how society's changed. We are actually living in a surveillance state already. Like the amount of CCTV or high-tech CCTV cameras that are in operation and that are going up, and nobody is speaking up. The public are not speaking up. If you look at the amount of technology that we have, that we use, like our phones or TVs or whatever in our houses, indoor camera systems, we are being monitored, we're being spied on. Nobody's speaking up. I know that there's a lot of plain unmarked cars, police on the streets. Even as I drive my van to work, we're constantly gang stalked, even by the police, followed by the police, harassed by the police. The police are not here to protect us, to serve us. Even if we were doing something wrong, like for instance, chosen ones, empaths sometimes can be alcoholics, drug addicts, and we're buying something we shouldn't be buying or taking something we shouldn't be taking. The police would rather deal with, victims, people that are sick, who are like drug addicted people, than deal with the politics or the policies that put the drugs in the street in the first place. Like, you have some countries like Portugal where drugs are actually legal. So you could legalize certain drugs, or you could control certain drugs so people don't get addicted, or find alternatives and treatments to drugs and try to rehabilitate drug dealers, rehabilitate drug users, and do things that way. And then they wouldn't have to be doing these like early prison releases in the UK. But rather than deal with the problem, they're trying to deal with the symptoms. So they'll be stalking, drug addicts. They'll be, following low level drug dealers, not even like the big level stuff, like how they get into the country in the first place, corruption in politics, corruption in customs and excise, corruptions in, stamp duty, corruption at airports. No, they want to deal with like the very small, low level users of drugs, small, low level sellers of drugs, watching us, setting up, stalking us, killing two birds with one stone, creating like a fear within chosen people so they can't shine their light, and having them basically run around in fear. So that's what I've noticed about the UK. I don't know where I can find those videos of the police talking about the Notting Hill Carnival was one, and the second was a report where police officers were complaining that the Metropolitan Police are institutionally racist, and a high ranking police officer, I think they're called commissioners or something in the UK, was basically gaslighting everybody. He wouldn't admit it. He wouldn't use the word institutionally racist. He was trying to dodge everything, every kind of like language where he would be looking like he'd taken accountability. I think I remember when with work as well, because we drive a fleet of vans to jobs. One of the things they say is that if you're in an accident, you shouldn't actually take responsibility for the accident. Just don't say anything, just take the details. Same sort of thing, just literally just talking but not actually owning the responsibility, even though the officers were saying in their experience that they had come across this racism within the police force. And that would also match up with how, there's the deaths that happen within police custody. You have the disproportionate arrests made against black and ethnic minorities and people of color, and that you have prison sentences that are longer or harsher for people that are of color, for black people, etc. You have stop and search. You have all of these things that the police do, targeting people, going after people, low hanging fruit, easier targets. And yeah, that's basically the world that we're living in at the moment. So in today's modern time, and I think I will make a whole separate video, if you're chosen, if you're anointed, if you have a light in your life, yes, try not to get involved in anything criminally, anything on illegal. Even though, what does that word mean, illegal? It's like, yeah, by the laws that, but there's a lot of politicians, a lot of people in position who use illegal substances. There was a story of a very rich couple who lived in Kensington, and they were methadone addicts or meth addicts. So you have one rule for the rich and one rule for the poor, basically. So it's better to try to stay on your path. Try not to get in any illegality, anything illegal, anything that may get you into any trouble with the police, and and try to deal with all your problems or your addictions or your your bad habits. Otherwise, and this is actually sometimes the case, you have a lot of empaths, a lot of chosen people in jail because they'd lost control, because they were caught with something they shouldn't have been, or they lost their temper and did something they wasn't, and these passion crimes, passion killings, etc. So you have sometimes a case where you could be in a relationship with a narcissist, and the narcissist is literally pushing your buttons, and one day you lose control and you end up doing something you're not supposed to. So sometimes, you know, now that you've got the information and knowledge, you could now look at a lot of cases and think, oh, hold on a minute, this person was actually a victim of narcissistic abuse, and then they actually ended up committing a crime or a murder, and then they go into the system, and then to survive the system, they have to become like the criminals that are in the system to survive it. So they end up being stuck in this perpetual cycle of crime and disorder. And then, you know, I think it's the same as there's a film, what's it called, Shot Caller, where the guy was just a normal civilian and he was in a car crash. He ended up going to jail, and then to survive the jail, he had to join the gang, and he ended up in the end leading the gang, which is kind of interesting because I think he was a lead lawyer or something. So the leader qualities he had in the society, he ended up being able to put that towards being in that gang. We're natural leaders, empaths and chosen ones. We're natural leaders. We're very authentic, and we get punished for that. And yeah, I think I've made most of my points. I might come and retouch on this topic, but don't rely on the police. They're definitely more demonic. They're more with the D than they are with Most High. And yeah, they don't want to see order. They want actually just to control disorder and to continue with their bigoted views and their fascist ideologies. And that's what I want to say. So I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Bye.